Welcome to the DeFi Standard, and this is Mickey B. Fresh.
And Patty XRP.
Today we're going to be talking about some key updates to the ExFi token airdrop and the new additions of liquidity pools on Songbird Finance, and some also new additions to the FlareFarm single-sided staking pools. So there's some key updates in here, and we're going to run through them in a fairly quick video today. So Patty, what are some of the key updates that we found out after today's ExFi airdrop has been completed?
Yep, absolutely. So in our video on Monday, we definitely talked about some of the issues with the airdrop and also the ratio changes. So the Flare Finance team issued a blog on everything that's been going on. So basically, with this, they said the pre-announced airdrop ratio was expressly stated as an estimate. At the time, we were undecided on airdropping to the Flare Foundation and also planning to burn all of the tokens from exchanges who didn't participate. Since that time, we have spoken with many exchanges, which changed our perspective. So going into that, they said we found exchanges weren't against distributing the airdrop to the rightful owners due to a number of understandable factors. So they touch on, with listing new assets on exchanges, there's a lot of compliance and legal stuff, as well as the tech side that has to be set up to support it. So with that, they decided, since there were enough exchanges interested, that they would still airdrop to the vast majority of them in order to kind of keep those lines of communication up in the future, that maybe, that ExFi could be listed on more exchanges than it will be right now. So with that, there was one exchange that did not want to have it for sure. That was Bitstamp. And they had roughly 195 million Songbird that were not included in the distribution. So that touches on kind of the stuff with exchanges. And then going on down further, the Flare Foundation was added to the snapshot to enable the foundation the opportunity to burn or distribute the ExFi's STSO rewards. This increased the amount of circulating Songbird in their calculation from 9.5 billion to 15.7 billion, which would increase the amount of Songbird needed to receive one ExFi. The amount of ExFi the foundation is getting is right around 16 million. And with that, I think we touched on this last video, they have announced that they will burn all of that. So instead of a 40 million circulating supply of ExFi, we're now going to have essentially 24 million ExFi supply until any of the future, allotments get released. So that could either be from team vesting over the next year, or that could be, once they get the governance staking pool and APY cloud up, it could be the reserves get used to pay out the minimum percentage yield to the governance staking pool. So that's how that supply could enter the market in the future. And additionally, they have an allocation for the Flare Finance Foundation, which that could enter if it's used for grants or bug bounties or whatever. So with that, the final ratio ended up being 392.9 Songbird per ExFi. And with that, I know there was one issue where people that had their Songbird in Flare loans, at first we got less than we should have, but they did go through and fix that. And most of the people I knew that were in Flare loans at the time, including myself, did get the full ratio that we were expecting here. So that got worked out as well. So moving on down here further, they have some information about the token contract as well as the token allocations for ExFi and SFIN. We just kind of covered the ExFi allocations. And then SFIN will over time have 8,000 going to FlareFarm, 1,000 to Flare Loans, and 1,000 to Flare Mutual. And then there's also a reserve of 1,000 SFIN as well. So moving down to the last part in this blog that we want to touch on is now we are in the ExFi gamma phase, which will last a couple of weeks while they issue out some new parts of the protocol and will result in the rebranding to Songbird Finance. So with that, we had ExFi distributed to all Songbird holders, then FlareX liquidity pools, which opened today for all pairs against ExFi. The FlareFarm pools opened today as well. And then the trading on FlareX opened here too. Now we'll see in the future Flare Wrap, which is their non-custodial wrapping platform, which can bring other ERC20 assets onto the Songbird blockchain from, most likely, I'm going to guess they're doing Ethereum first, since they have USDT, USDC, and Ethereum listed here. I know there's been a lot of kind of like consternation around the redemptions happening on Flare loans. So with the wrapping of USDT onto Songbird, that is going to help with some arbitrage opportunities to better balance the peg so redemptions aren't happening as frequently. But we're still waiting on that to be fully launched, and I don't know a go live date. And then additionally, 30 days, I guess, after today or yesterday, they're going to allow people to use the ExFi token as collateral to take out Canary Dollar loans. And the reason for that is, when a token starts trading, it's highly volatile. They want to avoid, a lot of liquidations happening in the beginning. So they're just going to let the price kind of settle out over time here. And then further on down, we'll see the Flare Finance governance launch. And so this would include like the governance staking pool. I imagine the APY cloud would be coming with this as well. So one of the ways to vote on like new listings on FlareX or parameter changes or whatever else we'll be voting on is if you stake ExFi or SFIN in the governance staking pool, that gives you votes within the system, which will operate as a DAO. And then additionally, we will see Flare Drop, which is tied in with the DeLorean NFT and will kind of be their exclusive NFT marketplace. And then finally, after this stuff, we'll see Flare Mutual and Flare Mine coming out. So, here in the next month, maybe 2 months, we'll see the full kind of what will be Flare Finance on Flare in the future rolled out on Songbird. So pretty exciting. I know there was some issues around the airdrop and certain things. So, now that those are worked out, we're kind of moving forward and starting to see the whole scope of this project.
Yeah, it's very exciting to see today on. So if you go to the Flare Finance FlareX page, we have 3 liquidity pools up there right now. So instead of just having Songbird and Canary Dollar, we have additionally now Canary Dollar to ExFi, and we also got a third pool, which is Songbird to ExFi. So you could either swap between these assets on the front end, or you could provide liquidity to them and receive the LP token and then stake those on FlareFarm. So we're going to have 6 FlareFarm staking pools. So let's go over there to
I'll pull that up.
Yeah, so this is now we're really starting to see the build out here. So this wasn't just an airdrop. This was an airdrop that needed to be coordinated with these 6 staking pools. So what do we got here? These earn you SFIN. We have 3 single-sided staking pools. So you could just stake. It looks like there's even a SFIN there too, which is going to become available. So we have ExFi, you stake, you earn SFIN. You could stake WSGB, earn SFIN. And then you could stake Canary Dollar and earn SFIN. And then there's also the first one, which was SFIN to earn SFIN. Wow, they added more. Then we got the LP tokens here. So when it says stake SGB and Canary Dollar, that means the LP token of that. And then we got SFIN Canary Dollar. Wow, they added a couple here. All right.
Yeah, even since I looked like an
we
hour
just looked, there were 6 an hour ago. All right, so this is all when SFIN is going to come live. Then we have the ExFi, go down to the bottom. ExFi Canary Dollar, ExFi SGB, and those are all going to be attached to an LP token, this is really interesting because now those who have participated in previous betas, you're going to start to see this thing become big. And this is why this is called Canary Network Experimental Finance. So there's different options for different people here. And this gives utility to the asset right away. So you could just take your ExFi if you want to do the most simplest thing. Right now, what does it show? It shows 1 million. 500.
Yeah, it's 1.5 million ExFi are staked here.
Staked right there, right now. Now those people are going to earn SFIN.
Yep,
so and interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, and to touch on this, so I mean, like you're now able to kind of search for a token pool. So I can type in. Oh, I think I just jacked that up by hitting the. Apologies, user error here. But you can search for the different pools since there's multiple now, and additionally, with the like single token staking pools, so that would be just like straight up wrap Songbird or straight ExFi. Those aren't being used for anything. This is just like a fair distribution model of the SFIN token. So if you stake it, then you are able to accrue the SFIN token over time. So that'll allow you to do that. Anything that's like SGB to canned, like Mickey was saying, or ExFi to canned, SGB to ExFi, those require you to have LP tokens to stake, and you're going to have to go through FlareX and provide liquidity to get those LP tokens. Now, this is more of a like over time linear release of the SFIN token. So, it's not like a rush like we saw in X5 V1 launch with the DFLR tokens. So there's not really, basically if your share is bigger, you're going to be earning more. So over time, you would probably imagine that your share in that pool will be diluted just by the nature of more people joining it.
Yeah, and this is a phased rollout. So if you see in the blog post there, they show the different phases that are going to come to be here. Because right now, that ExFi single staking pool, that will be removed and it will just turn into the governance staking pool. So this is a phased rollout. Get familiar with the interface now. Hey, you have free assets from your ExFi that you got from Songbird. Now's the time to use them, play around with the system. Understand that this is experimental finance network, and this is the canary network to the ultimate Flare network. So we have this system all built for us, for the community to utilize to test. Get familiar with DeFi, and if you don't understand the difference between the FlareFarm or the FlareX, look back. We got some really good videos that explain the difference between these different protocols, because they are ultimately going to have 6 different protocols built into one platform, and this is built on top of the Songbird network itself. And I do want to reiterate here that Flare Finance, Songbird Finance, the devs and the creators of them are separate from the Flare network team who creates Flare network and is designing the actual infrastructure and the validators, the FTSO, state connector system. So when you do tweet these people, tweet these projects, please be mindful of who you tweet, because we see a lot of overlap here, and that could come from the discrepancy of just the similarities of the names. But as we become more familiar, try to ask questions that are legitimate on Twitter to the right people. And I think that will help the community understand and others here in the community understand.
Yeah, and I'll add, I honestly think as far as when I try and get information, tweeting at a project on Twitter is the worst way to get information. Discord, Telegram groups, those are the best ways. They have mods, in there that can answer a lot of questions and you can get more additional help. Just realize if you get into like Telegram and Discord and you haven't used it before, that, people can kind of like spam message you on the side. Always be careful about who you're interacting with and make sure it's like a legitimate person from the project if you go into like direct messages, because people will try and scam you that way. If you're not familiar with those platforms. The other thing I want to touch on here, Mickey, is staking wrapped Songbird. So, the team has said, I don't know if this is available right now. So, if you're really worried about it, I would reach out to them. But basically, any kind of Songbird used in the platform, like for staking, providing liquidity, collateral, those votes are going to be delegated out to 2 FTSOs at 50%. One of those is DeFi Oracles, and the other has been AFTSO. I think they rotate based on whoever's performing the best or they can. In the future, that's something, governance will be able to decide. And the way that I have in the past when I was providing liquidity, they will put a claim button underneath, like at the bottom of a pool that is eligible for you to receive. So you're able to claim there on the appropriate dates with that.
Yeah, you should be able to claim SFIN. So as SFIN builds up, so say you're in this, just for example, let's take the ExFi, right? You're staking ExFi. It will show how much you have staked, and it will say unclaim. And then you'll have to claim your amount, and then you'll take that SFIN, go to the pool to the left, and then you could stake SFIN in here to earn more SFIN. So that's something you'll have to just see if it's available. And as it becomes available, claim it, and then move it over to the other pool to earn more SFIN. And this is how we build up different revenue streams, and you could compound yield. So understanding how all this works now is going to be significant moving forward in the future when we go on to Flare Network and Flare Finance. This is here for us to take advantage of. This, so everyone has to understand, it wasn't just an airdrop that took place in the last day or two. Everyone seems to focus on the token. But the token is the component that's going to basically drive the utility of all these protocols. We just launched, how many is there? 10 different staking pools here now on FlareFarm, and we got 3 liquidity pools now on FlareX. So I think that's really the bigger news here, is that you could actually utilize all these tokens and all these protocols have come online. Not just, oh, I got this free money and now I could sell it and, oh, go buy more XRP for it. I mean, that's great if you want to do that, but they're being given, and hence the word utility exists right here, right now on the Gamma platform of Songbird Finance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always like to think of the tokens anyways as like it's the accrual of like all the underlying technology and protocols going into it and whatever like the usage of that is shown through the value of the token. Certainly there's other factors like tokenomics and stuff like that, but it is kind of what realizes the value of a protocol. Additionally, just take note like if you're not staking a lot, there's a really low supply of SFIN and it's coming out over 2 years. So like 0.2739 SFIN is released through this ExFi pool on a daily basis. So like depending on your stake, you may not even see anything to claim for a while. So just be wary of that. Like it's not going to build up as fast as if you were earning DFlare just because that supply was so much larger. The other thing, Mickey, I just want to touch on. So if we go to Songbird Explorer, if you're wondering like, oh, what is the contract address or something like that, you can come here and we can see there's a holder count of 180,000 different wallets for the ExFi token. So you would just click on that and you can get the contract address from there if needed. Bifrost Wallet's really good about automatically updating it, but if you use something like MetaMask, that's a little better. And then SFIN would be on here. Yeah, so this looks like it'll be SFIN. It just came out, so there's very little holders just from people being able to earn a little bit today doing some of the staking, which is like, less than 5 hours old at this point. So we're not too far into that. And yeah, go ahead.
This Songbird Explorer is great here because I know a lot of people just ask questions and think that all these things are obscured in the background and hidden. Remember what we're invested into here. You're invested into a decentralized, public, permissionless blockchain. Everything is transparent. You see how many tokens were issued. You can see exactly who the wallet holders are of those, where they went. So everything is transparent. And this is the difference between a blockchain network or a dApp and an exchange. An exchange could obscure, and we have to separate these things, and they're different things. And look how fast the Songbird Network has been moving with the blocks. It was even faster earlier, 343 milliseconds. So blockchain's moving pretty fast. Songbird's been at tip-top shape. There's been 0 hiccups with the network since it's launched. So that's all a good thing. But that airdrop was just one component. I think everyone gets I'm going to say it again, so caught up in the tokens and the tokens. The tokens are going to be, like you said, Patty, they have utility out the gate. And I'm going to say this, when you got Sologenic tokens, there's no utility with them. Maybe you'll get another token on another blockchain. But these tokens have utility right out the gate that you could utilize right now to earn more. So there are different types of airdrop, and we need to separate them into what is usable right now and what might be usable in the future.
All right. And just the last thing I want to touch on is the reason there's a discrepancy between the FlareX price of ExFi and the price on, let's see, I have to go down here. They need to do a little work on the front end here just because some of the stuff isn't loading with the graph, but I can always come down here to the history. I can see somebody paid 1.137 ExFi tokens and received 15.47 Canary dollars. So that puts it at about $13.60 for the ExFi price on the FlareX decentralized exchange. If I come over here to BitTrue, we can see right now it's trading at $9.90. So that's like pretty large arbitrage opportunity. The issue that exists is not all the exchanges have listed it yet. That will, and there'll be more being announced and coming online here. But additionally, BitTrue is not allowing withdrawals. So, you can't just like go to BitTrue, buy ExFi for cheaper, and then take it to the DEX and sell it for, a premium. And that would kind of cut down on the price discrepancy between the two. So we'll just have to wait and see when BitTrue is going to allow trading withdrawals to become active.
So that's at the time of this video right now, which is roughly around 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. So if you watch this video, tomorrow morning or later tonight, it's possible that withdrawals will be allowed on BitTrue, and then that arbitrage will kick in and these prices will kind of level out. And it's nice having a decentralized exchange where we could use right from our open source wallets, and then we have a centralized exchange. So you have different options now on how to utilize the trading and the actual applications here. So nothing we say in here is financial advice. I know we didn't go to price of ExFi. Let's let it play out for a day or two, and then we
More
also
than
have
that, probably.
probably more. And then we also have SFIN, which is going to have its own price, which is going to be here right on FlareX. It's going to be defined as. So it's likely. What does that say right now?
I do want to note, so I want to caution people here. So right now it's saying it's $360,000 for one SFIN. I don't even know if one SFIN's even come out yet from FlareFarm. I'd kind of highly doubt it based on how much is coming out on a daily basis across the pools and how early this is. I will say, so you can see here's one for $317,000. Here's one for $457,000 as an exchange rate. Just be wary that there's barely any of the token supply out there. It's going to be, released over a period of 2 years slowly. So, here was one at $755,000, and people aren't selling an entire token. You can see this is like fractions of it. So that's just the exchange rate if it was a whole token. So just be wary of that. Like, it's very early in the market, and the price is probably going to be moving around a lot until we get a significant portion of the supply on the market.
Yeah, and this is what comes with a phased rollout. It's not just like, okay, we launch, boom, everything's all done, and that's it, we leave. This is going to be a continuous rollout, and also it's going to involve community governance. So ultimately, it's going to be you as the holders of SFIN and ExFi. When you stake in that governance staking pool, you'll have the influence over which assets are listed in FlareX pools in the future. How do we change the single-sided pools? That will be governance decisions by the community. So that's just something to keep in mind that's coming in the future. So it's not just, it's the creators and the founders' job to launch the product and then hands over to the community. And that's just something to keep in mind in the future here. And also understand, like Patty said, phased rollout. So SFIN's price, and I know people get crazy with their prices, seeing, $360,000. That could change very easily tomorrow. It's supply and demand, and also utility. SFIN has utility, so once people are able to get it, you could stake it right there too to earn more SFIN. Now that will turn into the governance staking pool in the next phase. So earning these things, you could utilize them to earn more right away. And having a stablecoin on there like Canary Dollar makes it easier. I think having something like Tether or USDC or wrapped something of a centralized coin will help with the arbitrage as well. And also remember, Flare Wrap is going to have a ton of assets, from PAC to Casino Coin to wrapped XDC and wrapped Ethereum. So there's going to be many other assets that are going to be on here too. I think we'll see a day when that FlareFarm could be multiple pages long, Patty. So it will be interesting. This doesn't even have any of the F assets in here, nothing. So this is still just the beginning phases, and it's only 3 of the 6 or 7 protocols that are going to be launched. So now's the time to get familiar with everything and understand, because it's going to be a lot when it all does get to Flare networks. And everything here is not financial advice. It's all just for educational purposes only.
All right. So with that, this is the DeFi Standard. I'm Patty XRP.
And I'm Mickey B. Fresh.
And we're out. See y'all.